Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's topic of discussion is going to be the introduction to formation of the three germ layers. So let's get into the video. Now before we start with the formation of the germ layers, it's very important for us to understand two principal concepts, that is fertilization and second is the cleavage. Now what is fertilization? Fertilization is a process of fusion of two highly specialized, highly differentiated, mature haploid germ cells, that is the ovum, which is the female gamete, and the spermatozoon, which is the male gamete, resulting in the formation of a diploid single cell, that is the zygote. And cleavage is a process of repeated mitotic divisions of the zygote within the zona pellucida in rapid successions, giving rise to large number of blastomeres. The terms over here are really new to all of you, which we will be discussing further in this video. So stay tuned. The term cleavage basically means division. The cleavage division lasts for about 6 days, that is up to 7th day after the fertilization. After the fertilization, the zygote now starts dividing, that is, the large cell divides into 2, 3, 4, and then forms morula. The three stages of cleavage are the stage of compaction, the stage where it becomes a morula, and the stage where it turns into a blastocyst. Carefully have a look at this diagram, how the cleaving zygote slowly starts getting compacted and finally forms a morula, which is a 16-celled structure in the form of a mulberry, thus giving it a name of compaction. This brings us to the second stage of morula. Between the 4th and the 5th day, fluid passes into the morula from the uterine cavity. This brings us to the next stage of formation of a blastocyst. The fluid that entered into the morula from the uterine cavity now starts building up inside and partially starts to separate the inner cells from the outer cells. Now the inner cells move into one corner and now they can be termed as the embryoblast, and the outer cells form a separate layer which is now termed as the trophoblast, and the cavity that is being formed because of the fluid buildup is now called as the blastocele, and this entire structure has now become a blastocyst. Now let's see how the germ layers are formed. Imagine this ball to be the developing embryo which is about to get implanted in the uterine wall. The blastocyst that just formed is basically nothing but a cross-section of the developing embryo. So please keep in mind that whatever we are going to discuss henceforth is basically a cross-section of our human embryo. As the blastocyst develops further, it gives rise not only to the tissues and organs of the embryo, but also to a number of structures that support the embryo and help acquire nutrition. Next, the blastocyst converts into a structure which is called as the embryonic disc. The three germ layers are mainly the endoderm, the ectoderm, and the mesoderm. All the tissues of the body are derived from one or more of these layers. The inner cell mass differentiates into flattened cells and comes to lie in its free surface, that is the lower portion in this diagram, and it is now called as the endoderm. The remaining cells of the inner cell mass become columnar, and these cells now form the ectoderm, otherwise called as the epiblast. The embryo is now forming a disc having two layers, that is, it has become a bilaminar germ disc. A space appears between the epiblast and the trophoblast, and this space is now called as the amniotic cavity, and it is filled with the amniotic fluid. The diagram on the right side shows a fetus developing in the amniotic sac surrounded by amniotic fluid. You can relate this diagram to the diagram onto your left side, wherein that space, which is called as the amniotic cavity, will be holding the future fetus. The endodermal cells now spread and line the inside of the blastocystic cavity. This lining of flattened cells is called as Husser's membrane, and this forms the primary yolk sac. The future placenta is going to take the place of the primary yolk sac, and primary yolk sac will be providing nourishment to the forming embryo till the formation of the placenta. The cells of the trophoblast give origin to a mass of cells called as the primary mesoderm or the extra-embryonic mesoderm, and these cells come to lie between the trophoblast and the flattened endodermal cells. Small cavities start appearing in this extraembryonic mesoderm and gradually join together to form larger spaces, and this is now called as the extraembryonic coelom. This gives rise to two different layers in the extraembryonic mesoderm, that is the chorion and the amnion. This was the basic of how the three germ layers are formed. If you liked my video and if you found this helpful, kindly share, like and subscribe. Thank you and have a good day.